Hi everybody, it's Cheeky Chap Gaming, keeping it simple. I just wanted to do a quick tips and tricks really for this game. I've been playing this game now for a couple of 3 weeks, just off and on. I didn't really want to advertise the game, and I'm not here to advertise the game. I just wanted to do a helpful video really for people that are playing the game, because I see players that are starting all the time that don't even know some of the basic stuff in the game. So this is just to help all you folks a little bit along. The basic stuff, I'm not going to go through. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I want to make it quite comprehensive so that everyone understands what's going on. Because when you first start, it's a little bit daunting, to be fair. You get thrown into the game, and it's kind of like, what do we do now, John? You know what I mean? Oh, there's a fishing rod, let's go fishing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So some of the basic things in the game are, you press, let's go through all the inventories and stuff like that first. The inventory and all the, look, if you press the escape key, you can go to the game settings here, and you can set your weight in pounds or in kilograms. I'm old school, so I use pounds and ounces. You can have a different casting, so it does a double bar for casting instead of a single. So if you look down there now, let me just walk towards the water quickly, and you'll notice there's 3 bars at the bottom now for when you cast, and for catching fish as well. So when you're catching fish, let me just change my bait over because I want to catch them quickly. So let me just check and see what we're on here. My line is £6, my test curve is 5. We're good, we're not going to get snapped. Let's put a maggot on quick just to catch our fish. So basically, oh, straight under, that's because I've got a lot of weight, or is it because I've got a fish straight away? I've got a fish straight away. That was the quickest fish ever on Fisher Online. I didn't come here to catch fish, I just come here to show you how to do the video. So if I want to cast in a place, you left click to cast. I've got another bite there. This is wow fishing, isn't it? This is like so easy to catch fish. Now, if I want to cast, I've just wound back in. If I want to cast back in that same spot again, I press the T key and it just puts it back in exactly the same spot. Now, I'm fishing very, very shallow there, because when you first pick your rod up, it actually sets your rod at a set distance. So if we look, it's at 0.10 of a meter. So you can change that by using the plus and the minus key, which will allow you to add depth. Now different rods will allow you to have different depths, and therefore if you're on the bottom, like I've gone over depth there now, so now we know I'm too deep. Well, I'm not, I'm actually right on the edge of it. Well, I'm actually too deep. You press the Z key, I can close in and I've look at my float. I might have a fish there, actually I have, that's why that's doing that. But you can also you can overcast with a rod, which means when you overcast, you can't cast in the same place using T. So if I hold down the left mouse button and wait for it to the double bar on the right, you'll see it's gone double green now. Now if I let go, it will cast it really far out, as far as this rod can cast. Now if I want to cast back there again, I've got another fish on. This is crazy, I'm catching this many fish. You can see how easy it is to catch fish in this game. So if I want to try and cast that now and I press T, it won't let you cast there. You have to literally, you can only use the T when you use it up to the first level. That's how easy it is using that. Well, look, we're not going to do any more fishing here because I've got loads I want to talk about. So how you change equipment and stuff, when you go into your little round settings thing here, and that opens up your rod. You can level your rod up as well, as you can see here. Receiving experience, this particular rod, you can buy certain rods and that will give you extra experience. The more you use it, the better your fish control, accuracy, blah, blah, blah gets. Some rods have a restriction on that. You have to have a reel that is equal to or less than a certain size, and it'll highlight that on the reel for you. Well, we haven't got a reel on this rod at all because it's just a pole. We just flick it in and out. So there isn't actually a reel on this rod. So, but when you have got a reel, when you've got a rod with a reel on, so if you click on here and we look at this, it says nothing on that one. Let's find another one where it does it. I'm dead sure it does on this one. It does. So it says here you need a reel equal to or less than 1500. So if we look here, my reel is an S100. So that's how you can tell what you need to do what. Now looking at your UI here, you've got your level on the left hand side. it's a bit finicky this. You have to move it around inside that circle. It tells you what your current XP is, so you can see there mine's 262,634 and I need 845.5k to get my next level. Then underneath that you've got WP points. You usually get 3,000 when you start off, and as you use them each day, this will reduce. When it gets to 0, you can't do any more gathering. Basically the gathering is the food, so you can gather mushrooms or vegetables like pumpkins, mushrooms, sweet corn, and I just so happen to have a sweet corn pot behind me here so you can see how that works. Now in this starter map it's worth walking around. Now when you walk around you press the W key, you walk really slow, you don't use any stamina, but when you use the shift key and W you move faster. And you'll see in a minute because I'm gonna show you how that works. So you press E to gather this, and we'll get 1 to 4 sweet corn from this. Down the bottom right it says we've got 4 pieces of sweet corn. If I press I, go into food, you can see there's the 4 sweet corn. Now to use these points, I've just used 100 to pick that, and it tells you it costs you 100. Some are 50, some are nothing. Now you can also recycle these to turn them into chopped vegetables, and by doing that you right click. You can also auction these if you want, if you've got the points to go on the auction house, but recycling them will give you the option. So I'm going to do 1. So down the bottom right it tells me that I get 5 pieces for that particular one. Each time you do it you get 5 pieces, and that turns it into chopped vegetables. Once you've got chopped vegetables, you can cook them, which make them into dried vegetables, which then you can pack and sell, and I'll show you that in a minute. You can also make food out of these various things that you collect, and also fillets and expensive fillets. These are ways of making money. When I get to the caravan, I'll show you that. But let me just run. So it's worth a run round the lake because you can run up and down here. There's nothing I can see here. You can normally see if there's any vegetables like pumpkins and that. They shine up pretty loud. You can see them. The hardest things to see in this game are potatoes. They're like a very, very green plant that's very small, and unless you know what you're looking for, they're really hard to come across. So just mouse over stuff when you're walking around if you're not sure. I'm just going to walk to this corner here because there is a place here where sometimes potatoes spawn here. There is a place here where you can get free worms or free insects. It's a random thing, and there's a blue exclamation mark should pop up here in a minute, and if it doesn't, there it is. I'm going to say it's because I've already collected it today, but I haven't. So this is here every day, every 24 hours. If you press E, open it up, and then dig. See, I've got 14 muckworm. You could get beetles, you could get anything, and then you just click leave, and then that's it. It will respawn. Now, if we go into our bait, you'll see that my muckworm went in with my other, or whatever it was I got. Was it muckworms, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, muckworms. So I've got 647 muckworms now, as you can see, which is far too many. You don't need that many. But as you can see, I've got a lot of bait here. And you'll accumulate bait over a period of time. But be aware, because you've got a certain count here, like this is the size of your tackle box. So when you first start, this will be very small. You can increase that, and we'll go into that in a second. You can run all the way around the lake, and you can use some of them foods, which I'm going to just show you how to do. I'm going to run round to the bottom, and then we're going to go over to the caravan. This is just to see if there's any potatoes, so that you can see what potatoes look like, and onions. Onions are what onions look like in a normal field. They've got like stripes of long straight leaves coming out of them, a bit like the reeds here, but it'll be in the middle of the ground. There'll be normally 2 together. If there are any vegetables that are close together, when you pick one, it'll say 1 of 2 or 1 of 5. Now you can see at the top here, you can probably see my bar's gone purple, and that's showing that I'm using my stamina, and that's because I'm running, holding the shift key, but it gets you around the water quicker. There is a drawback with this. Once you've used your stamina, it starts to get you exhausted and you move very slowly, and then you can only walk at walking pace. You can't run anymore. You'll probably hear my character starts to heavy breathe in a minute. There's a couple of ways that you can resolve this. One is with food and one is with sitting down. Now, sitting down is something I'm going to cover in a second. You'll see exactly Right, I'm just going to exhaust myself totally so you can see how this works. Right, so you can see now I'm starting to slow right down, and now I can't use my shift key. I'm literally walking. So if you press your space bar, if you've got any accessories, you can roll with your mouse. You can see I've got a seat here. I've just scrolled with my mouse. And then press E, I can sit in my seat, and now I'll recover my stamina really quickly. Have you noticed how my bar's recovering very quickly? That's because I'm sat down. You can do this in a vehicle. You can do this on a wooden stump. There's a wooden stump in the starter area that I'll show you in a minute. There's a benefit to sitting down. If you sit down, you get XP. You get extra XP for having a seat, and you can upgrade your seat. So the first thing I would do as a new player in this game is, don't forget to pick your seat up. That's a shift key and the E to collect it. It tells you on there. So now we can run again. I'll get over to the caravan in a minute, and I'll go through all the little bits and pieces. I'm going to get exhausted again and use some food so you can see how that works as well. So there's lots of pegs around here. When you first start the game, guys, just go around and fish them all. Oh, look. Corn. 100 of 448. Press E to collect. So here we see how many we get this time. In the bottom right, it'll tell us. This time we got 3. So all the time I'm using my points. I'm just going to go onto the map here. So if we look on the map, there's certain things on the map that you can see. So you can see this is where we are. You can see I've put a label. So you can left click on the map or right click to say play. You can have so many labels. As a VIP, I don't know how many you get as a VIP because I don't play in VIP. Although I've got a VIP ticket, I still haven't used it. I've had it for ages. But you can mark a part. So if someone says to you, oh, you want to go and fish at spot, like you can see the spot I'm stood at the moment is currently 121.51. So if someone says, oh, you catch gudgeon at 121.51, you can put a marker there when you find it by clicking along the lake, so you can find where the number is. So it will tell you, if you look here, the marker's at 102 and we're at 121. So if someone says it's at 102.66, you can catch gudgeon or you can catch roach. If you can literally put that there, then you can click in here and write a label and write roach on bread at 10 meters clip or whatever, and then you can write it on there, and it just allows you to have places that you know where to catch them fish. Now these little arrows here are quite useful because if you click on them, it allows you to teleport there. So if you're over at the caravan here, you can literally teleport there or there. There's 2 teleport points on the starter lake, okay? So that's how that works. So if you get exhausted and you want to run back, you can just use the teleport points. There's different teleport points. You have to find some on some lakes, like some are radios. If you go and stand next to the radio and click it, it activates the radio. Oh my God, I've got 3 of these today. Never have 3 on this lake. I'm going to have no points to show you what I'm going to do in a minute if I'm not careful. So let's just take this next one. Another 100 points gone here. I'm not going to take anything else because I need some points to show you some. We've got another 3 there. So I'm going to use my energy quick so that I can show you how to use the food. And I probably won't collect anything else. I was hoping to find some potatoes to show you what they look like, but I can't see any. They look like these green pants, but they're a bit more wispy. Oh, so it's hard. Wispy is the wrong word. They're different. They look different than that. So as you can tell already, this video is going to be a longer video than what I intended it to be. I only want it to be like 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm going to be quite comprehensive with this. But I will do another video after this just to show you how to make hook lengths, because that's a different kettle of fish altogether. Right. Right. So if I press my H, that opens up your food. So I'm not going to use my food. I was going to use my food, but I want to save it because it's like valuable stuff. So different food can do different things. So if, for example, let me just come out of here. I'm just pressing the I to go to food. It's easier. So if you right click on things, it says grilled fish, and it says walk for 15 minutes, increases walking speed. So just do that to use it. But if you right click on them, it tells you various stuff. So make sure you read it. It says here, look, mushroom picker intuition 40 meters for 15 minutes. So any mushrooms within 40 meters, it'll direct you to where they are so you can find the mushrooms. So some of this stuff is really good. You can't pass stuff to people. It says here, give to. You have to be level 15 to pass stuff to people. But you can do that, and you can also auction it if you choose to do so. And that's another part of the game. But this part of the game is just collecting. There's like little mini games, and there's even more mini games on top of that. So if you press Q and we go to achievements, these are all the current quests that I have. These are quests that I've completed, and these are the rewards that you got for completing them quests. If you right click, the packing table is quite an important one. You want to get that as soon as you can. You have to sell to the merchant 30 items. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. This is to make casters. Again, this is to have your own cooking, but there's some locally. This is to get your own basket to put your mushrooms in to save space, so you can actually save space. This is the same with both your leader box and also the hook box. You want to get that quest done as quick as possible because that free up some of your hook space. Then obviously this is just a food one for fishing. And you can see these are quests that I'm currently on that I haven't completed yet. I get 10k for doing that. I didn't even realise I did that. Oh my God, look at that. Earn points from the auction. Oh right, I didn't even know. I'd sold 100 things on the auction that I didn't even realise I'd done. So obviously you've got to earn that much money to get an extra 10k for free. Now I see why people use the auction house. Didn't even realise he had that. But you can see all these. You right click on these with your right mouse button and it opens up. It tells you how to complete them and what you need to do it and what they're for. So that's quite important because that's part of the game people don't even understand. And these quests will open up as you process through the game or proceed through the game. Now, there's a cooking table here, so I've just collected that vegetable in the starter area. If you click E, it opens it up, and there's a few options in here. As you can see, I can now make baked potatoes. To make baked potatoes, you need salt, potato, and firewood. And what baked potatoes does, I've got some. I think I've already got some. Let me have a look and check in my inventory, because if I have, I'm not making any more. Yeah, I have. So this is what it does. It gives you baked potatoes baked on coals. You can eat it or you can cut it into cubes to get bait, so you can recycle it, so it tells you what you're getting for recycle there. I'm not going to make any more because I want to save these potatoes as a reason for it. I'm going to auction them all off when I get a certain amount. See, look, when you've got a certain amount, you can auction them for 149.99. So I can put them all up for auction, and then because I can't send them to you, then if you wanted to buy 10, because you need 10 potatoes to make to be able to make this and to finish the quest. So that's why they're expensive, these, because I'm not going to sell these because I don't want to rip people off. But basically that's what it is. To find that, by the way, you just press your Q and then go to auctions. So if we have a look on here and you look at potatoes, so you can see here they're selling for 150. Someone's got 7 up there, and you need 10 to finish a quest, basically. Then that opens something else up, another quest for you. I can't remember what the quest is. Let me have a look on Q quickly. What was the potato one? It doesn't even. I think was it this one? No, it wasn't. I can't remember what the potato quest was. It was a food quest anyway. I had to do a food quest for it, and it finished. But it must have just. Oh, there we go. Is it that? There it is. Receive baked potatoes times 5. So to get the cooking pot, you need 5 potatoes. So you need 10 potatoes because 2 potatoes make 1. So if you get what I mean, so that's why there's 10. And then you need fried fish, and then you need boiled corn. So you do all that on here. So if you go on here to complete that quest, so you need boiled corn, which is here. Now I've recycled my. Have I recycled my corn? Let me have a look. I might not have done actually. I don't understand why. Right, so it's corn. It should automatically allow me to do that then. Yeah, because if I recycle, it won't be corn anymore. So yeah, it's kind of weird that. Oh, I know why. Because I need water. So if I have one bottle of water, then I could make the corn. That's why I can't make it, because you need salt and water. And this all costs coin, guys. So obviously be aware of that. As you can see, I currently got 97k in coin up here, which is useful. You get an achievement once you get 100k. So that basically is your cooking there, and it helps you to get on with other stuff. This is a basic seat here. If you press E to sit on it. So if I cast my rod out again, so let me just cast out quickly, and we catch a fish quick. Watch me not catch a fish for 15 minutes now. Well, we got a fish straight away. There we go. So when you catch this fish and I'll bring it in, it shows you on your experience. So now it says I got 72 plus I got 90 experience. Altogether I got 137. Had I not been sat on the seat, I wouldn't have got that much experience for that particular fish. So you can see just by fishing down, so if you stand up and fish without that, I could have pressed C and put it back in the same place. You'll see that you'll get less XP because you stood up fishing. Saying that, I don't know if you actually get any XP, if that gives experience. I don't know if there's an experience number on that. But if we look at my seat gives me 13 plus 13% experience. That's because I've upgraded it so many times. So that's why it's really important that you come to this caravan when you first start and you go to the accessories menu in here, and it says simple chair. It costs you 30 tokens. Believe you me, you'll get 30 tokens dead easy, guys. If you go and fish all the waters that you can fish on and do the dailies on there and do them a couple of times, so you need 300 coin and 30 of them to get a 0% experience bonus. However, once you've got the seat, you can then right click on it and don't sell it, whatever you do. There's a double arrow here, which is an upgrade. So to upgrade it, obviously I'm at 13%. If you click on it now, if I want to use these, it tells me how much coin it costs me. I can only use improvement tokens because after level 10, that's all you can do. So each time I'm using one of my tokens now to upgrade it to 14%. And then if I do it again, look at that. Look how many tokens that took me to get to there. So that it's going to cost me 4,125. I'm going to do it just to show you how to do it. But there we go. So I've now upgraded it. So it just cost me 4,125 coins to upgrade. And now you can see the picture of my chair looks better. I've got like an upgraded chair with 15%. Up to level 10, you only use tokens. After level 10, you have to use improved tokens. That's how this works. So now if we look at my chair, it should be a different, should look different now. Let's have a look and see if it does. Oh, it looks exactly the same. It showed it was a bit more greener, but it isn't. It's the same chair. But it's worth upgrading when you can afford to, but don't waste your money until you have to do. Other things in here that are quite important. If you look down here, there's a merchants tab. So this merchants tab, you can buy these blueprints. Like it costs 25 for this and 25,000 coin. Each of these boxes cost you these amount of merchant tickets and the amount of money. But they're worth it because if you get 100 squid, and you'll get that 38k. So if you sell one of these, so let's have a look on the marketplace here. So I want to sell, I can't because I haven't got any squid, but let's have a look. So is there any squid on here that I can see? Yeah, squid. So for squid, if you sell 100 squid, you get one of these tickets and you get 3,571 coins. So for selling 100 of them, that's how much you would get. I haven't got any of them, so I can't sell them. But to make these boxes, you need to do the quest to get this item here. To get this this packing table. And then you need, let me have a look and see. I've got 80. You know what? I don't really want, I want to sell these on the market, on the auction. I don't want to really sell them here. I want to sell them on here because they're worth more on here. Now what I'm going to show you, so look, I can get 62.8 on here. I can get 62.7 on here because I'm going to sell it one cheaper than that guy put. So let's say it's 62, right? So if you do the maths here, so if I put 100 of these together and sell them in here on the merchant, so these sell for 3,600. So 100 of these are going to give me 3,600. If I sell on the auction, if I sell all these on the auction house, I'm going to get 5,024. So you can see that's not even having 100. If I had 100 of them, that would be even higher. So let me show you what 100 of them are worth, and then I'll put it up on sale. So how do we do that? So if you press the Alt key, you can see I've got some fish in my keep net. If we go to the cutting table, and this is what I suggest you do before you sell your fish, guys. Before you go to this van and get all excited about, oh, look at all these fish here I've got. So let's see, what can I get for my hide? So for my hide, I can get 60 coin, right? However, let's just come out of there and go into the keep net and go to the cutting table. Cutting table. Fillets. So I'm gonna fillet every single one of these fish. So you can see I've got 88 fillets at the moment. I'm not gonna sell any of these. I'm gonna fillet them out. And the reason for this is because the money for the fillets are far more valuable than what it would be if you sold 100. But that's because there's an event on at the moment. Basically, normally if there's not an event on, then you won't be able to sell them. People won't buy them. They're buying them to use to catch fish on, because you need fish for sea fishing and stuff like that. So obviously you need to do your own maths and homework each time. Do you want to sell the fish to the van, or do you want to sell the fish to the merchant? The merchant is in the caravan. You can get more money from the merchant sometimes than what you can on the actual. So for example, these fish pieces, if I sell 100 fish pieces on the van, I get more money than what I will if I'm selling it to the auction, because in the auction they're cheaper. And you have to do your maths before you actually before you decide where you're going to sell it, so you get the best return for your money. If you want instant coin, sell it to the caravan. If you're happy to wait for someone to buy your items, then sell it to the auction. I'm not in a rush for money, so it's not a big deal to me. But if I I don't want to make it on my table, but let me just show you how you make it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to show you how you make it. So once you get this packing table, it allows you to make these fillets. So you can see here, I have to use one of them, and then it wants 100 fillet fish. And then you can create one of them and sell it for the amount. This is the same. I'm going to do it with this one so that you can see. So I've got 157. I'm going to create this so we can sell it, because I know that this is giving me a better return than, let me just pick my table back up, because I'm not leaving that there. You get it back if you log out anyway. So if we just go back on what I said a minute ago, so if we go to the merchant and we look at what we can get for selling that to the merchant, you'll see here I can get 1,060 now, because the price has dropped. It was 2,000 something the other day. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to wait till the price goes up to 150 or whatever again, because I'm not in a rush to sell it. But yeah, so I can get 1,060. So for selling 100 pieces of them, yeah, for selling 100 pieces of them on the auction, how much do we get? Let's have a look. So there isn't any on the auction. That's a shock. Wow, the auction's cleared out. That's a bit. Oh, right, there it is. Right, so you can see there, they're worth 7. So let's call it 7.5. Let's call it 8. So for each fillet, so if you had 100 fillets, you get 800 coin. So there's no point in selling 100 there. Look how many are up for sale. There's millions. You're competing with other people. There's no point. But whereas if we look at the other one, this one here, is it fillet of fish? Is mine fillet of fish? Let me have a look at what mine is. Yeah, fillet of fish. So I've got, let's put that in there, 116. I'm going to auction mine off. Oh, there we go. Right, so, all right, so the price has dropped since I was looking at it before, so someone else has put a load on already from the look of it. So to sell 100, can I sell 116? Only let's sell in hundreds. So hang on, let me work that out. So that's 58.93, so that's 5,800. 5,800. 5,900 basically. So if we go to the merchant, check on the market and check on the fillet, 5,000. See, that's only worth 3k. So you know what I'm saying? So the profit is there. So straight away we're going to auction. We're going to go to the auction and auction them all. So here we go, auction. So Oh, I didn't see what the current price was. Sorry guys, this is a bit of a plonker here. Right? I just want to have a look and see what it is. So they're currently selling for 58.93, which is what it actually said on there. I want to sell it for less than that for obvious reasons. So I don't want to sell it at the same price as everyone else. I'm going to sell it for 0.2, so I'm undercutting everyone. No, I don't want to sell it for something like that. It's overcutting. So it's going to cost me 176 in fees, but I'm going to get 5,900 back for selling 100 of them. Boom. Just get rid of it. Now, I could take 2 days, or someone else could put another 100 up there now, and they undercut me, and I have to wait until theirs are sold first. So you've always got that risk of not getting that coin back straight away. I don't need the money. I've got 90 odd K in my bank, as you can see. So it's not a big deal to me, but that's one way of making money. All right, guys. Another thing while we're in here, quickly. Only buy what you need to buy. So don't be buying loads of floats and feeders and all that stuff and all the hooks that you need. You just use what you're using, because this space is premium in your tackle box. And to upgrade your tackle box, when you first start off, it's a lot smaller. I've already upgraded it. So to upgrade it, you press the plus key here, and you have to use your currency. So let me just close that a minute. So if we go to my currency, you have to use storekeeper tokens to upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade it just to show you. It's going to cost me 3,600 plus 2 on my tokens. But so if you do that, it won't let me. What's going on here? Oh, it did. It already did. Sorry, it just did it quickly. It's just not updated. You have to close and then open it up, and then it'll be updated then. So it's 390, not 380 now. So that's what happens. Sometimes you have to close it. Here, on this bar here, you've got where your fishing rods are, where your tackle goes, where your hooks go, where your bait goes. So all these are self-explanatory, and they can all carry a certain amount of things. Now you'll notice, like, there's a bar down the side here. Did I just sell something? It looks like somebody just sold. I've got a basket here that I completed where I can put all my mushrooms in here. So you can see I've got all my mushrooms in here. So when I actually recycle these, I'm not going to recycle them, but I'm just going to recycle these 2. What the hell? Let's just recycle 2 of these. So they're worth different amounts. These are the best mushrooms in the game. You get 6 for each one of these. That's why these sell really well. So if I put that in there, it reduces the space that I've got in there. Same as that, if I put these mushrooms, left click and hold and put them in there, then I right click to open it, and you can see now all my mushrooms have gone in here. So I've got all these slots free that are freed up in here, so I've got more slots available. And this is the same. So you'll see on my hook bait, I've got 20 hooks in my box. So that reduces the hooks that I've got in here. And again, we have a look here. You've got leader boxes. There's another quest you can do. You can fill this up with 20 leaders, shock leaders, and that reduces the space that you're using in here. And this is the same with everything. And then when you get things from quests, you can also drop them in here. They'll drop in your miscellaneous box, and then you left click and drop them into here. Like this is your composter, which makes casters, etc., etc. This is your cooking pot. So if I want to cook, if there's no cooking pot on the water like there is here, I don't use it here because obviously there's a cooking pot. If you press the space bar and then do that, I've got my own personal cooking pot. So I can walk up here now, click on that, and I can now click on these and cook them. So it automatically cooks everything that you've already got. So if you can cook more than one, it'll say 3, 4, 5 or whatever, but it cooks them in 10. So, not enough space. So that's because I've used some of my. That's interesting. Why have I not got enough space? I have got enough space. What are you talking about? I don't understand why I haven't got enough space. $369 and $390. That's a load of rubbish. Got more space than NASA. Okay, whatever. Let me just pick my fireplace up. Okay, so that's that. When you click on your Alt key and you open up your fishing net, you get a lot of options here. So you've got an assembly table that allow you to do hook lengths. I'm going to do a separate video on this. I'm not going to go into this video, guys, because it's quite comprehensive. That I've got a crafting table as well, which allows you to craft different baits. And obviously, when you click on one, it tells you what ingredients you need. You can buy these ingredients from the caravan behind other shops, or you can get them from fish. So if you've got bread and you've just made fish pieces, how I showed you a minute ago, then you can make these items. You do need this to go and fish on the Netherlands water. There are fish in there that need minced bread. But you can make all these things, providing you bought the components here to make that. Like you only need whole squid to do that. And then you need these. Now, you'll see that in my net before, I actually had, so if we go to my crayfish here, where are they? There they are. So I can cut these on a cutting table. So I can either sell them. I've kept all of them because I wanted to show you how to do this. So I can make two things with them, right? Oh, I can't. So that's I'm not using a £7 fish to do that on your bike. So if I want to make crayfish tails, you click on here and that sends it into your bait now. So I've just created it. So I've made it basically. So I've just cut it down. So I've cut all the raw stuff off it. And now if you go to your bait, so if we press the I and go to bait, you'll see that they've appeared in here. So I can right click them and I can recycle them here. Or I can just recycle them where I was going to do a minute ago, which was on the table, by the way, not cooking them. So if we go on the table, crafting table, I can make them on here. So it tells you that I can make 9. So if you pull that bar up to there, so let's just do 8. Create. So now I'm create. You get 4 from each one as well, obviously, look, as you can see there, which is great. But you don't have to do it in the cutting table. There's 2 ways of doing this. You can do this from your bait, from inside there as well. So if I right click on here and recycle it, it does exactly the same thing. It will give you 4 down here. It's just a different way of doing it. So you've got 2 options to do that. It's just, it depends where you're fishing, you know what I mean? If you can do it when you stood on the bank, either or method, it's simple really. So let's just see my email and see I've got an email. Oh look, all my fillets sold. So look at that. So I made 5,892 while we've been studying, guys. So you can see, you know, it's the luck of the draw. Someone obviously is buying them because of the event that's on at the moment. So yeah, every time you get 100 of them, so it's worth going to your cutting table and any fish that you can cut that you've got available to cut and get what you can on them. I was fishing for eye today to do that. Right, I'm jumping all over the place now. I just want to come back in here and just click on a few things. So showcase, exchange. You can exchange tokens here, as you can see. It costs you a certain amount of coins. So if I didn't have enough storekeeper tokens and I wanted them, you can click on them and make them. So you need an angler token and a tournament token, 2 of, and then it costs you that to make. So you can always have a storekeepers if you've got some tokens. So depending what you want. So if you want to have improved tokens, you have to use tournament token. You need to use them. So each time you click on one, it tells you what you need to use to be able to convert it to that. And then you have to use a small amount of coin as well. So don't fret if you haven't got any, because you should be able to get some this way by doing that. Buying floats and rods. Floats, rods, reels, lines, all that is straightforward. I'm not going to go through all that. But don't go wild and buy all these things. You don't need them all. Just buy what you need. Buy the basic stuff. Be conscious. But when you are buying stuff, there are things that you can upgrade. So if you look at, let's go to where they are. Accessories. There we go. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, you can get the seat and upgrade the seat. But it tells you when you click on an item. So when you first start off, you start off with a really crappy, I don't even know if you can upgrade this, you can't know. Your first one you can't upgrade. I've got a keep net I can't even upgrade, but I'm going to buy one shortly. So this one here, the Grandmaster 3, Grandmaster 2 or the Grandmaster 1, they're all upgradable. You can see here, it tells you, obviously you're going to pay a different price depending on how much money you've got. You're paying 12k. All that is an upgraded version of the 1, to be fair. So that's got 242 pounds of fish. Obviously you'll be using kilograms. I'm an old school, so you can have 120 fish, or if you buy the cheaper one, it has 110 of fish and 100 piece of fish. So you're getting an extra 20 fish for playing that extra, what is it, 11 grand or whatever. But this will be upgradable as well. So it says here, currency of improvement, angler tokens. So it's worth saving the 12 grand, buying that, and then upgrading that further, because it'll upgrade further than what that one will. So you'll see some of them here. I've just got 50 pieces of fish and 88. I wouldn't waste your money on anything that you can't upgrade. Same with this. I would wait for, you can't upgrade this. You can buy that for, you know, but it'll break quicker. It costs 320. Depends out how badly you want it. You know, the 3-star one, it does a bit more. It's a bit more movable, etc. So yeah, and if you're using a torch at night time, you can buy your batteries here. I only buy the yellow ones, they last longer, the other ones are shit. Same here, you can buy a lamp. I don't use that, cost you 10 tokens. I'm not even using a mixing bucket, because you can actually mix stuff without a mixing bucket. That's my next thing. Going to attractors, you want to make ground bait, it's pretty straightforward. You buy the ground bait, you right click it to use it, then you just go process. So you want to use a dip. If you bought a dip, you can add a dip to it. So let's just say what we're using a tench mix here. So tench like aniseed. So let's do that. Oh, I'm cocked up there. I wanted to use some of that. Don't know if I can use it now. Oh yeah, I can still use it. That's cool. And then if I wanted to use aniseed again, have we got any aniseed? Let's see what else. Oh no, we might want to use, see if we're trying to catch tench, might want to use some of them. Do I really want to use that? And then if you click on that, and we click on that, it'll create it. I'm not going to create a ground bait, guys. I've got shitloads of it already, but that's how basically that is. You can, same with making doughs to go on your hook. So if you want to make some dough, you open that up, use it. If you want to put flavour in, you can do, I think. I don't put flavours in this unless I really want to. This is where your flavour goes in. I don't bother. So if you click on that a second time, and that'll just give you the basic one. So it'll give you that without any stuff in it. But you can add, and take into account these take up slots as well, guys, in ground bait. So if you go back to your ground bait now, you'll see that I've got 2 pedos. You want to put them, you want to make sure they all stack together. So you've got the same ones. See, there's 2 the same here that are taking up extra slots. It just falls in that way. It's a bit silly, really. But just make a note of that, guys, because if you've got double the same bait in here, make sure you put them together, and that'll save you inventory slots. That's pretty much it, guys, with regards to everything on the starter lake. Just going to go to here quickly. When you press on the travel thing, I showed you this before, depending what level you are, it will cost you money to travel from A to B, from B to C and C to D. The events thing is free. You can go to there for free. Each place that you go to, there's different things available. When you get to level 30, you can go to your own home. Let's go there now. You won't get to level 30 for quite some time, but when you do get there, you can use your own house to put stuff in. That's pretty much where I dump my stuff that I don't use. And if I'm going to go fly fishing, I go and pick my fly fishing kit up and put it in my tackle box just to save myself space. That's where all my extra gear is. Make sure this is your house. It's really exciting. Look at this. I got a tournament thing from the last tournament that we had. Whoopie-doo. This is your storeroom around the corner here. When you get to level 30, in case you don't know what's going on, press E and then it allows you to put stuff in and take it out. As you can see, I've got all my extra stuff in here. Oh, I've got 3 of them. I think you can stack them together. Is that universal repair kit? Yeah, let me just send these back to my thing, because I'm sure I can stack these on top of each other so that they don't take up an extra space, because you only get limited space there as well. Yeah, so if I put all them on top of each other and then put them back in the store, so you've got to be doing this all the time, because things double stack for nothing. This is your home base here. Remember, press Q and you can pick up quests here. Wherever you go, there'll always be quests. This one on your home one's a little bit better. You get some choices to make here, which is cool. Again, the benefit from being at home is you get this. You get a red bar. If you see a tree with a red bar around, you need 150 points to as you can see, I've only got 147 left. But then you can pick that up, and you'll see mushrooms around here as well, in the star area, in your new house. I mean, look, there's some here. I'm not going to pick them up because it costs points. I don't want to use the points. But let me go back quickly to the map. It costs you different coins to go to different areas, guys, and you'll see these that have got these radio stations on. You have to go walk around them and open them up. And you can do that by hiring vehicles to drive around big maps. It's worth doing that. Also, once you open them up, you can teleport to them, so you don't have to use a tent. Now, if you get to an area where, let's say, you're miles away from where you want to be. So let me just go back to the starter map, because it's probably more beneficial to show it on there than it is to show here, because I'm right next to the... Oh, if I just click to go somewhere else, what a numpty, I've spent 160 points for nothing. I can show you on here anyway, so as long as it is broad. So, as you'll see, when you go to different places, your caravan will sell different stuff. You can buy nuts here, you can't buy that at the starter place. There's a few other things. You'll find some different feeder rods on here and stuff like that you can buy. Just be conscious of, sometimes you need tokens to buy stuff. And they all give different benefits, and the size of them as well. So you can see, I don't think any of these, no, none of these give experience bonuses from what I remember. I think some of these do. I think, yeah, look, you get 30% for that one, but it's only £11. You get 50% for that, but it's only £6. Great if you only catch some smalling fish. And then for £15, you get 10% for them. That's the one I currently use. These are the bigger ones. You don't get any experience for these. These are the three that I currently use. I bought these from day one, guys. I'm still using them now, and I've been playing the game since 2000 and whenever it came out. So I haven't bought. If you can go, you can buy fancy stuff if you want to. Same as some of these. You don't need a reel for some of these poles, but they're not. You can lose big fish on them dead quick. They're really frustrating. These are not too bad. I've got two of them myself to use, but I'm not so keen on the float fishing. Something that's really important I wanted to touch on is lines. So a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to show you now. So let's click on any random line here. Let's take the smallest one. Let's not take the smallest one because you can't do it on that. So let's just go on this STK. If you look up here, it says 100 meters on the line. You'll not. A lot of players have been playing this game for years, still don't know this. But if you look up here, it's got a little drop down arrow. If you click on this box, you can change that. So if you want to make hook lengths, you can just buy 10 meters, so you don't pay stupid money for 100 meters. Look at that, it costs 126 to buy that. And if you take it at 10 meters, it costs 120. All right, 6 points. There's no point faffing around for 6. You might as well just buy the 100. But what's important is the one on the right hand side. This is transparent, so this is a see-through one, right? So you can see it shows transparent there. Now, if you click on here, you can have a green one, you can have a blue one, or you can have a brown one. Why is that important? Because if you go to this mod that I told you about for travelling, it tells you on here yellow and brown for your hook lengths. So the fish that you catch on this water, so if you make a yellow or a brown hook length, you're more likely to catch the fish on this water than not. You're more likely to catch a record fish because they won't see the line as much because they're not susceptible to seeing yellow and brown. That's why it's worth noting. That's another reason why when you buy your fishing line, you want to look at the waters that you're fishing on. And when you're playing up from low level, you've got to remember at low level, when you go travelling, you've got to start at level 1. Then you're going to get level 5, you're going to get that. And then level 8. So I would say up until level 14, you're going to be look at what the most is. So you can see that green and brown, so white, blue, brown. So it's looking at yellow and brown. So brown. Yeah, brown's the prominent one there. I would say brown, green. Yeah, brown and green are the prominent ones on the starter lakes there. So if I was going to make any hook lengths, I wouldn't bother, because if you're on a water where it says blue, white, that means that different fish are susceptible to different hook lengths. So depending what you're catching, like if I go and fish on the Russian Pra, I'll have a hook length blue, white and brown. And if I catch a fish and I'm not catching them as much, I'll change over to the same hook length I've just made, but only a white one or a blue one, and see if I can increase my bite rate. And that's effectively how you do that on a water. But when you first start, you're limited to money. So green and brown, you want to be using that on the first lake. So go and buy yourself some line for whichever. I mean, obviously, I can't remember what, I think I sold my starter rod. I can't remember what my starter rod was, but let's see what the starter rod is on here. Float rods. It might well be this one here. These might have been the starter rod you start with, one of these, I don't know. But you can see I've got the 17-pound one, which is the one you saw me cast before. It says here, I think I did anyway. Is that the one I've got in my tackle box? Let's have a look. No, it's not. There it is, that's my starter rod there. So if we look on my starter rod, you can see here I'm using white because I was using it on a different water. So 17 pounds is the maximum I can use. So let's see, well, if I'm on the starter water, I want to be using, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to make another video on that because it's going to be too long otherwise. I'm just getting a bit carried away here, aren't we? So if we look on this map here, you'll notice there's no teleporter points here. So what you'd have to do is, if you was fishing right over here and you don't want to keep running back, is you can put a tent down. You will get some quests when you do the weekly quests. I don't know if there's a weekly quest here. I don't remember doing one here. Is there one here? Don't think there is. Doesn't look like it anyway. No, it doesn't look like there's a weekly quest. I might be wrong, guys. I don't know. I've not fished on here for years. This is totally different since the last time I fished on it. So yeah, let's have a look at the quests on here and see what you can do on here. Soul Leech, big club money, that's interesting. Yeah, smallmouth. I haven't fished on here. I don't recognise any of these. Some of these fish on here. But anyway, let's get back to the starter lake. Before I go, I just want to show you. Sorry, yeah. So if I put a tent down, to have a tent, to be able to put a tent down, you have to have it in here. So it'll go into your crafting material. Just pick it up and drop it into here. And once you start putting that tent down, you cannot pick it up. So be aware. As soon as you click the button, you have to put the tent down, and it stays there for 24 hours and it disappears. You can make a permanent one, but it takes ages to get the components to do it. And you'll see if you buy, you can buy it on the auction house, but people are selling them for silly money. So there we go. Look, 250k. Oh, what's that for something different? Hang on, I saw a tent before. Looks like it might have already sold. Oh no, here they are. Look, so look, 140,000 for a pack tent. That's mad. And look how much some of the components are just to make them. Look at that, 1,400 for a 24-hour tent. That's a lot of money for that. And that's just a different skin. Someone's selling that for 295k. That's balmy. There's two up for sale. I can't believe people are paying that for that. That's crazy money. But yeah, you can see it's very easy to make a lot of money in this game out of just selling rubbish to people. Just same as these cards here. Let me go to the cards quickly so you can see them. So your cards, you need what it tells you here how many cards you need. So you get these from catching fish. You'll catch them. You'll get cards from random events that happen in the game. And then when you get a combination, so when you get 3 cards, you can left click it and it'll open up, and then you can click it again and it'll give you another option. You'll get another option, like you get a random card that will drop for you. So that's quite helpful as well there. So I'm babbling on a bit now. I'm conscious that I'm not really telling you anything new now. I'm sure I've got a couple of things that I wanted to say in my mind that I can't think of. Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered most stuff. Don't sell. Don't buy stuff that you don't need, and you can only sell rods and reels, and you have to stand by here to sell them. So if I wanted to sell that, you click on that and it will give you an option to sell it and how much you could sell it. You'd be selling the whole thing. Also, something else you need to be conscious of is when you can open up your rods and you can have a look and see if they're damaged or not. That's what I meant to tell you. So let me just drop these back onto here. So I'll put my other 3 rods in here so you can see, because they are damaged. So you can see here, it's not full. It's starting to wear, and when you click on it, it'll tell you, for example, if I right click, I want to open it up to what we're doing here. There we go. So I've right clicked. So if I want to repair it, it tells me how much. It tells me where it currently is at. So it's currently durability is 71 out of 100. So I need 30 at least, so I need a repair kit of 30 or above to repair that reel. I don't bother repairing them until I get to 50% and then I repair them. Because otherwise you're just using repair kits for the sake of it. And they're quite expensive as well. You have to keep doing quests to get them. Same again on the rod. If the rod needs repairing, you can just repair it by clicking on it. Right click on here, repair the rod. Tells that I've got 188 of 200 durability, so I don't need to repair them yet. But same again with that one. If you look on here, you can see. That's how you check the durability of your stuff that you've got. That's it, guys. You need to make sure you've got the right stuff in your bags to make stuff. If you just make sure you get the best value out of your fish, sometimes you're worth selling, sometimes it's not. As you can see here, I've got a load of fish that they're no good to man or beast. I don't think like they're worth 75 coin to me, the fish that I've got here. I don't think I can get any more. Let me see if there's any. I don't think there's anything else on the cutting table. I'm not sure whether I want to. I'm going to cut that up. What the hell? I've got 5 pieces. I haven't got any of that at the moment. So I'm just going to sell the rest of my fish in here now. So we can see, you can sell them individually. If you want to sell a fish individually, what you do is you click on it and then just sell individual like that. Or you just click on the species that you want to sell and then sell an individual. And if you had a species with 5 and you didn't want to sell all of them, you wanted to sell the lowest weight one, so you click on this here and it moves it either the lowest or the biggest weight to the front of the queue. So if I wanted to sell that, so hold the control key down and then I want to sell that one, left click, that one, left click, but I don't want to sell any from 4 onwards because I want to save them for. So then you click the single button and it sells them single ones that you've collected and then it gives you the coin. I'm just going to sell all of these because I've got no need for them. You can't use some fish. So you'll see that it's got here, quest window. It says it wants 5.82 of bleak. If I caught bleak in France and tried to sell them here, it wouldn't work. So you can only use the fish on the water to do the dailies on the water and to make the money on the water. Okay? It's as simple as that, guys. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Apart from the menu thing, which I clicked on before, all the controls and that, you can see all that for yourself. Again, this, I have it on the single one. That's all there is to know about the game, guys. Anything else that's I've forgotten, I'll put in a follow-up video. But there is one thing, when you're fishing, you can press, so when you've got a rod in your hand, you can use the Y key, which will allow you to put a rod rest down so you don't have to hold. So if you've got 2 new rods and you haven't got the triple, so you can do that and you can put them on single rod rest like that. And then it's easy to just pick them up and the rod rest will disappear once you put the rod away. So that's it basically, guys. So you'll always have somewhere to be able to put your rod rests. And you can fish literally anywhere. And what I would make a note of when you fish somewhere and you catch certain fish, as you will see in the top left hand corner there is where you are on the map, so it tells you. So you can see here we're at 100.94 and you'll see people asking questions about where they caught XY fish from and what the clip was. So basically, if you're fishing somewhere and someone says, oh, I've just caught my record XYZ and I was fishing at a 17 clip, you press the X key on your keyboard and you can see now down here that's at clip 17 meters. So that's how you get your clip. So obviously if you want to get to clip 12 meters, what you would do is you'd cast out and then you'd wind in and every now and again press the X key just to, all right, so I'm nearly at 12 meters. I want to get to 12 meters, just wind in a bit more. Right, so I'm now clipped to 12. So I know now every time I cast out, so if I pull it in now and I cast it back out with the T key, it'll go back. It'll try and go to 17 meters because of where I first cast it. So your first cast always has to be a manual cast, and then after that you can just use the T key to cast it again, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. So now we're only going to go, it won't, no matter how hard I cast it, it's only going to go to 12 meters. So it's gone to 12 meters now. As you can see, it's stuck on my clip, and now when I wind it in and press T, it will always go back to that place. Simple as that. So I hope this has been a bit useful to you guys. As for putting different baits and stuff on the hooks and the lines, that's pretty straightforward. You already learned how to do that. We should have done from the basics. Use the labels on your maps and help other people. If you find something that someone else is looking for, share that with people. I'm also going to put a link in my video for the Silent Angler. He's done I'm going to find the link. He shows you what mods to use. I'm only using a couple of mods on here. I'm using this mod, which is the map mod, which shows you the direction. So if you put a pin down somewhere, it'll show you where it is on the map, and it'll show you a house as well where the house part is. This takes you to the forums. So this is where you can actually find the workshop with the mods. Now, since the update, my mods have gone because I had it tagged most popular mods. So let's have a look. I don't think it's they're not there anymore. Most popular 1 week. See, I had mine on here, but yeah, there's some mods on here that are definitely worth having. The one that I'm using is a Chinese mod. I don't know which one it is. I don't really want to go through all these and just because let's go to most popular. It might let's have a look. Home, most popular. So here's the most popular here. Let's have a look and see if it brings up the one that I've got. Most subscribed. A lot of these are just skins. Fisher remastered Russian. That's in Russian. That's no good. Not to me anyway. Most played. There should be a top 20. Most recent. Yeah. Not seeing it. Specific mods. Sound. Oh, hang on. Let's have a look. Items, boats, sounds, textures, localizations. Let's have a look at that. Localizations. No, it's not that. Textures. Boats, items. Icons. Right, here we go. This might be the one. Icons. No, it's 1 of 21. There's a compass there. Which one of them? That's in German. Yeah, I'm not seeing the one with the yeah, guys, you can see where to find these. I don't want to spend 20 minutes going through all this list, but if you go through it yourself in your own time, you'll find the mod that I'm using. Obviously, the one which is this is the only one I use 2 or 3 mods, and this is the main one, just so you can see what hook lengths to use. There isn't a better one out there than that, in my opinion. So I hope this has been helpful to you, this video, guys. I've kind of like come to a dead end here. I had some other things that I wanted to add, but I've forgotten all about them. But I think I've covered the basics, which are the most important things. I hope this has been useful to you guys. I'm going to make one on hook lengths because that's quite important. I'll put Silent Angler's video in my link below so you can see which mods he's selected, which he's pretty much on the mark with, to be fair. And I hope this will be useful to you. If I think of anything else that is what I haven't put on here, then I'll add it at a later stage. But apart from that, just hope you enjoy yourself in the game, guys, and don't waste your money on loads of stuff like I've done here. I've spent so much money on stuff that I don't use half the time. Hopefully this will just save you doing that, and just enjoy the game, guys. Cheeky Chap Game, keep it simple, not so simple on this video, and I'll see you in my next video. All the best, bye bye. And thanks to my current subscribers that have added this last week. I can't believe how many of you joined. Thank you again, and all the best for the new year, folks. Bye bye.